right, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Friday night, we are this season doing the high school football reports. Galen Nunold will be doing play-by-play. And it's always exciting, always fun, and it's just a great thing that I'm always proud that the radio station is part of this, and it contributes to the community and the young people in our community, and it's just a win-win for all of us. However, this Friday, because of Hurricane Irma, or the threat of Hurricane Irma, the football games have been moved back a day. So the high school football games will be tomorrow night, at least for the public high schools. I know we got at least one private high school that we haven't heard from yet, so we'll find out. But more than likely, they'll be moving their game also. So Friday, what are you going to do? You have no game?
Yeah.
Maybe you could read a book. I got one for you. It's called Backfield, Boys. It is a football mystery in black and white. John Feinstein is the author of this very well-written book, and let me introduce him to you. Good morning, John Feinstein. What an honor to have you on the show. Good morning, sir.
Larry, good morning. That was a great segue. I appreciate it.
Well, it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing.
Scheduling to my book. That's pretty good.
Well, they're going to have nothing to do on Friday. It's all going to happen tomorrow.
So they should all run out to the bookstores today and tomorrow and get Backfield, Boys so they can read on Friday.
Absolutely. So where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm in my house in Potomac, Maryland right now, outside Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think you're going to have to worry about the storm. Well, you never know, though.
I think we'll be okay based on what they're saying about the track of the storm, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. So tell me about the story, and what does it mean, a football mystery in black and white? What does that mean?
Well, it's really literal. The book is about two kids, an African-American and a white kid from New York City, who go to a fictional prep school, and obviously, I didn't know what was going to happen in Charlottesville when I wrote this, but I put the book at a fictional prep school about 10 miles from Charlottesville.
Wow.
And the plot involves the black kid is a quarterback, the white kid is a wide receiver, but when they get to this school as high school freshmen, they find they've been put at each other's positions because they have run into a coach and a coaching staff who don't think African Americans are smart enough to play quarterback. Now, you might say 2017, that doesn't go on anymore, but I think recent events tell us that this sort of thing does go on, that race is still a huge issue in our country. And the head of the school, the boys discover as they're trying to figure out what's going on, is a former KKK member. And obviously I made that up, but I'm not making it up as I tell you this now, a month after what happened in Charlottesville. So the only good news about Charlottesville for me personally, because obviously it was a tragedy, was that people aren't going to say that my plot is far-fetched, because unfortunately it's quite realistic.
Right, it's really true. Do you know, I've had a theory too, by the way, that you novelists actually control the world.
If that were true, a lot of things would be different, Larry. I can assure you that.
But if that's true, if what I just said is true, then there's some hope here, because it sounds like all of the people who are still racist are older, and the kids in high school have come to grips with the fact that we should accept each other. That's what it sounds like.
I think that's a great point. It's funny because I wrote a book 3 years ago now, another one of my kids' mysteries called The Sixth Man, and it was a basketball book, and in it, one of the main characters, who's one of the stars on the basketball team, comes out. And, my daughter, who is a freshman in college now and who was in high school then, read it and said she couldn't understand, because part of the book was about the backlash to his coming out, and anti-gay groups coming to games and things. And she said, well, we have a GLAD group at my school. And, it's not, I don't care if my friends are gay or not gay. And I think you're right that younger people now look at issues like race and sexuality and go, what's the big deal here? It's the older people that are ruining the world.
And an interesting an interesting thing also that kind of dovetails with the book is that a lot of the ways that we are being taught what's right and what's wrong is through sports. I guess I said that kind of awkwardly, but I think that's what you're showing in the book. That the story in your book wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for sports.
That's right, and it's an excellent point, because look back through history. Jackie Robinson played in the major leagues in 1947. Now, he had to deal with all sorts of issues, but he did play. It wasn't until 1954 that the Supreme Court ruled against segregation in our schools. So sports is often ahead of society, and one of the reasons for that is because Gary Williams, the old Maryland basketball coach, who's a close friend of mine, said to me once that one of the things he liked growing up outside Philadelphia was that when he went to the schoolyard to play ball, nobody cared if you were black or white or Catholic or Jewish or gay or anything. They just wanted to know if you could play.
Right.
To a large degree, that's true in sports. Now, it's not 100%. There are still racial issues that divide locker rooms and divide people who love sports, and this is one of them. The Colin Kaepernick thing has clearly divided people, and that in many ways was the inspiration for me putting this plot together when I started writing this book a year ago, because what I noticed about the Kaepernick thing was, for the most part, not 100% obviously, the people's opinions broke down along racial lines. Most African Americans said, of course he's got the right to do this. I know I said he had the right to do this. I stand up for the national anthem, but I would never question anybody's right to peaceful protest in any form, including the Cleveland Cops, who say they don't want to hold the flag on Monday in the Browns opener because they're upset with the Browns who kneeled. They have the right to do that. But most of the people screaming and yelling, if you don't love our country, leave it, and things like that, were, as you say, older white people.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think the other part of this is that when you have, as in your story, which, by the way, if you're just tuning in, the book is called Backfield, boys. Get your copy for Friday, because the high school football is not going to happen.
That's right.
It's happening tomorrow. When you have money as a motivator, which I think is the Kaepernick story, by the way, this is not my opinion. This is the sports guys that do radio. I'm not a sports guy, but I was listening to them, and they were saying basically it's the fear of the owners that if Kaepernick is signed to the team, you're going to have 10% of the people who don't show up at the games, 10% of the people who boycott the products advertised in the games, and 10% doesn't sound big, but it is. And so that's their. It's all about money. It's all about.
I think that's NFL propaganda. I think that's owners' propaganda that a lot of our sports media is buying into. I don't think it'd be anywhere close to 10%. I think it might be 1%. You might have 100 people among 60,000 season ticket holders who would give up their season tickets. I think most people would not, because they love their football. But there would certainly be some backlash. I think there would also be some people applauding the team that signed him and saying, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For stepping up and saying, this guy is a good quarterback. The other thing, as you've probably heard, Larry, that, again, I think this is more NFL myth-making, is all of a sudden Colin Kaepernick, who was a starter last year, and admittedly for a bad team, but was a starter, he's not one of the top 64 quarterbacks in football? Are you kidding me? Of course he is.
Yeah.
If he had stood for the national anthem last year, he would be in somebody's uniform this Sunday. There's simply no question about that.
And just to kind of restate in a different way, the influence that sports has on young people's being able to accept each other for what they are and respect each other for who they are, whether they're gay or a different race or whatever. I think when you have a really good player who becomes sound like a hero, like a Shaquille O'Neal type or something, or Michael
Jordan.
Michael Jordan, absolutely, yeah. I think what happens is all the kids just love him. They don't care. When I was a kid, I was a music kid. I loved music. And my music heroes were pretty much all African American, and Motown was my favorite label.
Right.
And so I think that helped me in my younger years, just as sports does in many ways. All right.
Well, that's a great example, just to wrap up, but when my son was 3 years old, when Tiger Woods won the Masters by 12 strokes, when he hooked his tee shot on the 18th hole, Danny, my 3-year-old at the time, was watching, and he got upset. And my wife said, what's the matter? And he said, I'm sad because Tiger Woods hit a bad shot. He didn't see a black guy.
No, right.
Best young golfer in the world, period.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the bottom line. I love what you're saying in the book, and good for you for seeing it before anything happened, and that enabled you to put the book out in time. I'm telling you, novelists rule the world. All right, Backfield Boys is the name of the book. I have a copy of it. Call me right now, and you can start reading it on Friday. The rest of us have to go buy it. I know it's on Amazon. It's probably wherever books are sold. Do you have a website?
I do. It's at J Feinstein Books.
Okay, at John Feinstein. Am I saying your name wrong? Feinstein?
Feinstein Books.
Right.
All right.
jfeinsteinbooks.com.
John, what a great interview. What a great book. Keep up the good work and definitely come back with the next one.
Larry and Robin, thank you for correcting me since I gave you my Twitter handle, not my website, because I always screw that up.
I thought so. I was wondering about that. All right, I'm glad Robin actually caught that. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Larry. Take care. Good luck.
All right, thank you. We will be right back.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best charred grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
We all know that sound means there's going to be some need for collision repair work, and soon. What you may not know is that it's your choice where to have that collision work done, not the other guy's insurance company. Because your vehicle is much more than just transportation. It's like a family member. So don't bring it to just any chain collision center. Bring it to Lyle's Collision Service. When it comes to getting your vehicle back to 100%, you can count on Lyle's Collision Service. They're not some fly-by-night chain company. They're a family-owned and run collision center with over 33 years of experience. Working with collision repairs and vehicle restoration, Lyle's Collision only uses quality parts and doesn't take shortcuts like some other companies. They take pride in getting the job done right and in a timely manner. They specialize in insurance claims and they strive to get your vehicle back to you as soon as possible. So the next time you hear this, remember, it's your choice. And the choice is clear. Lyle's Collision Service.
Ocala Eye is the largest, most experienced eye care center in North Central Florida. Tuesday at 10:30, Zora Harrison and Adam Tenza will be our guests, bringing us up to date on the latest optical and other innovations in the industry. For over 40 years, Ocala Eye has provided comprehensive medical and surgical eye care. But that's just the beginning. Just wait until you hear all of the exciting things coming our way. So be sure to listen Tuesday at 10:30 with Ocala Eye, helping you live life to the fullest. Be sure to tune in to hear about innovative financial strategies on the long-running program Prosper with Keith Singer. You will learn about intelligent ways to safely grow and preserve your